Hey guys, welcome back to the Big Brain Thoughts podcast. I got Noel with me today. He's going to be highlighting kind of what's last happened since last time he was on this podcast. And he's going to be taking off here to Vegas soon to go intern at the UFCPI and kind of work over there for a little. I'll let him take him away and kind of like fill us in a little on what's kind of changed and what he's working on and how he's defending his thesis. So.
All right, sick. Thanks for having me again, dude.
You
Always a
got it,
pleasure
boss.
hanging out with you.
Yeah.
So definitely very happy to be here and excited. Yeah, since last time, kind of a lot has changed within that time period for sure. Like I was saying earlier, last time we met was in April.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of since then, I guess we could go in maybe chronological order or try. We probably
Dude,
won't.
let's go.
We
Dude,
probably
sick.
won't though. But let's see. In April, at that point in time, still in the heavy like collegiate S&C
Mm-hmm.
grind. You know what I mean? Working with women's golf, men's basketball, men's baseball. We were getting to like their postseason. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So really tapering down and everything. Unfortunately, the basketball team they made it pretty far.
Sick.
They made it just before like the big national tournament.
Dope.
So they were like in the final of their regional.
Nice.
So they did very well, and then the baseball team didn't make it too far into the playoffs this year. It was a very young team as well, and the women's golf team didn't have the best showing at the
Uh-huh.
NCAA. But hey, man, those are the toughest tournaments of the year. So
Yeah.
you really see where you stack up. And yeah, just reflecting on finishing off that school year, we wrote them their summer programs that they probably don't follow.
Classic. Yeah.
You know what I
That's
mean?
okay.
So yeah, it was a great experience for sure. I'm glad I did it. I already knew going into it that I didn't want to be a collegiate strength and conditioning coach,
Uh-huh.
but I wanted the experience.
Yeah.
For sure.
No. Absolutely. No, that's awesome. Something you kind of like hit on or touched on there a little was over the course of the season. So my last guest, or not last guest, two guests ago, I was talking with AJ about we kind of hit on the topic of it's tough to have an athlete that you dump all your time and energy and effort and resources into, and then they just like get up and move, or they're just like, no, not for me. Like
Yeah.
like that's like so as in combat sports, that's so frustrating. And so like, kind of what's cool about the collegiate setting is like they're on scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
They're locked in. Like,
They're locked in.
Yeah, you like unless
Yeah.
they hop in the transfer portal, like you've got them for like like 3 years, 4 years, depends when they came in,
Exactly.
5 years even sometimes, right? And where you can kind of do stuff. You hit on like they may not follow their summer program, but
But-
at least 6 months of the year you're going to be able to get some good work out of them.
Yeah.
Which is cool to be able to kind of plan for that and plan that progress. How do you think strategies change a little when working with an athlete that may just come out only to train in, let's say, combat sports for 3 months and then
sure.
they're fucking going back on their way? Does that kind of change your thought process and the way you're kind of approaching things, or what do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like a lot of the time too with combat sports athletes, it's like they look to start hiring an S&C coach when they're like approaching camp,
Right.
right? So a lot of the time it's like a very I guess limited mindset on like, oh, okay, I can use this guy to get ready for my fight, but that's like all I need it for.
Right. It's so frustrating.
When we both know like the most gains that you can give and see from a client is the longer that you have them, right? Because just like this didn't happen overnight for anyone else, not me,
Yeah.
So it's years of hard work and discipline in the weight room and not trend like these teenagers are taking these days. Um,
Dude, yeah.
Dude, it's crazy right
dude,
now.
Dude, yeah, dude. I did when I was in high school. Guys were taking trend, dude, and it was funny. Like,
Dang.
yeah, dude. So dude, that's been around like the block, and I don't think that's going anywhere. Like,
Yeah.
I think like, yeah, dude. Some of the guys I played high school football with, like, they're like they randomly drug tested and like shit would come back and there's like fucking steroids, coke, and I'm just like getting these.
Where did you go to high school?
Yeah, dude, I'm just hearing these results and I was just cracking up. I'm just like, dude, this is outrageous, dude. Yeah, did these guys get D1 scholarships and shit? Like, yeah, like,
Yeah,
but
dang, okay. I
So-
don't remember anyone taking trend when I was in high school. I had a few friends
That's right.
in the powerlifting and bodybuilding gym who were obviously, doing stuff. But
Uh-huh.
I don't know, maybe it's because of the social media aspect these days. is, because
Oh, it
now
definitely-
all of
it's
the
gotten
kids,
way worse.
which
Yeah,
has been
big time.
like cool as far as getting these kids in the gym. Now they kind of feel like they need to be. Everyone
Right.
else is in the gym. I need to be in the gym.
Right.
That's a very positive thing, but not like, oh, my bro just took Tren at 18 years
Right.
old
Now his
after
voice is
1
really
year
high.
of training. After 1 year of training.
Yeah.
Which is, nuts, dude. I mean, at this
Yeah.
point, I don't even know how long you've been lifting. I don't even know how long I've been lifting in well over 10 years, so like.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you hit on that kind of like after the time component, because my most recent guest, Udi, he runs a great program here, Neighborhood Strength and Fitness here in Vista, but he's been lifting since high school, and so we're talking about some high school sports and whatnot, and he highlighted like a great topic, how like strength, like once you've built it up, it's pretty tough to lose as long as you do like little maintenance. So like in high school, like I was back squatting like 405.
Dang.
And so like I really don't lift fucking heavy, but like I've maintained like my strength levels.
Yeah.
Like periodically, like, every couple months I'll like retest and make
You'll
sure.
just see what's up.
I'll see what's
Yeah.
up, and like I can like we were talking about earlier, like split squat between the leg, like still 275 and stuff. But do I train that? No.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's funny that like just the strength levels and down payments from fucking years ago, I'm still just reaping the benefits.
Oh, for sure.
Fucking for such a long time. And then there's like preliminary research articles. Well, no, I'm not gonna say preliminary. Did you hear about that ACL research article of I forgot what threshold squatting. I think individuals that can back squat over 300 and something pounds, their ACL size in high school athletes was double of their counterparts. So it's interesting in like the fact of like, now is the correlation causation? I don't know. Is it like stress change? Because like historical lens, like ligaments like that will not adapt to like force demands by any means. So I just found that interesting. I was like, that like that's kind of flying in the face of conventional, thought process of like, oh no, still our ligaments will be able to adapt and kind of deal with these kind of trends. And that would make sense ACL, right? If you're doing a squat, it's going to slide that fucking tibia forward. So that constant tugging forces that ACL, hey, we got to get thicker and fucking stronger. So those down payments as a young kid and a young athlete really, really goes a long ways. And anything I feel like we can do, you also hit on a great point there, Noel, of like, these kids that like come in with camp and they're like, yeah, I'm ready to get in camp mode, and then and I'm fucking out, and I'm like, this is cool, like, but like, oh, you're fucking 30 pounds over, so we can't really even do a bunch of cool stuff because our focus this camp is going to be losing weight.
No.
And so it's just like, I can't fry your nervous system. I can't fucking go super heavy where you're sore as shit and you're walking in mud, because then you're going to have a shitty quality fucking actually technique practice, dude.
Over.
Yeah, right. And so like, how do we break that mold? Like, what do we got to do? I feel like I'm yelling to the abyss sometimes.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense, and is definitely something that we see and deal with often. And going back to like, sometimes that isn't, even with collegiate athletes, if like you said, they're on scholarship, whatever the case may be, like the ones who like really do not like lifting are gonna only lift for their season and then just like screw off the rest of the time.
Right.
But even that is like,
It's great.
that's not gonna be like an 8-week up. Most fighters are pretty uneducated about this stuff, right? They're gonna hit you up with like 8 weeks to go.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's not a lot.
I recently
of time
had a
at all.
guy that hit me up with 3, and I was just like, all right, okay.
Like, I
We're
would
gonna
say,
get stuff moving fast. And like,
I would
let's go.
argue like 2 weeks out, pretty much the S&C is like out of there. You know what I mean?
You aren't adding new stuff.
Yeah. So like,
fucking adding new stuff. In that
so like, take 2 weeks off of that. He really hit you up with 1 week.
No, exactly. So I gave him the same program, and I was like, we're just gonna be running this for 3 weeks. Dude.
Man. Yeah, dude. So, but as far as ways to mitigate that, it's just, being a good person, being a good coach, attract them to the winning side.
Right.
They see what it's done in your life. They see what it's done in your past clients' life or current clients that are accomplishing the exact same things that they want to.
Yeah.
So like, I think a big thing's like attract them to the winning side. And like, place like just little sweet nothings into their ear. It's kind of like Inception. You make them think it's their idea. In the fourth layer of dream consciousness.
Yeah. And then you tell them, what a great idea. Like, they hit you. You know what? I think I should be lifting harder when
Yeah.
I'm not in camp mode. And you're like, dude, that's
And then whether or not they achieve the good results during camp, we know we're going to do a good job, but again, it's not necessarily like, oh, we want to progress this and progress that and give you something new or whatever
Right.
during a fight camp. That's not what our job is to do, right? As you and I know, but a lot of
Yeah.
combat sports FNC coaches actually won't follow that very well either. So I think it's also being able to show them like, hey, this is what we got done in this amount of time.
right.
Imagine 1 year from now.
Right.
Imagine 5 years from now. If you give this a real go, you stay consistent, you get educated, and you continue to work with a coach who not only knows where you started, but exactly where you want to go.
Right.
It's
No,
simple.
That's big time. You hit on an interesting aspect of like coaching a combat sports athlete as a strength and conditioning coach. Since you're so familiar with the sport, what benefits do you feel like you can have, especially since we were talking pre-air of like you now sliding into a coaching role, teaching jujitsu. And so what do you feel like? Do you feel like it's okay for you to sprinkle in some technique or concepts with strength conditioning? Is there a nice blend? Do you think it should remain separate? Only reason why I ask that is because like I feel I personally, my style, I like blending the two. I like, we were talking a little bit too, like pre-air on like trying to make things a little more sports specific if we're familiar with things. I know that's like a double-edged sword. It's like, do we really even need to make things super sports specific, or should we just stick with the basics because the basics work? Like, why are we trying to reinvent the wheel? Which is both totally fair viewpoints. But kind of what's your take on it, and like how do you approach that?
I would definitely say that I will try to combine a little bit most of the time for like to develop an understanding, especially like if I'm working with some Brazilian athletes.
Yeah.
My Portuguese is not good. My Spanish is like above passable. It's like a little bit above average,
That's
but
all.
not quite
Mine's
exactly
useless,
where it
so
needs
that's
to be.
great.
I'm hard on myself as well. But the Portuguese is not there, brother. You know, I catch on to a few phrases, but sometimes like for example, if we have a session not too far out from the comp, maybe like a week or less,
Yeah.
something like that, which I mean, most of the time, most of my athletes, they'll either do like one or none. But I tell them to approach a session like that or a session like we're thrashed from training and tell them this is like drilling. So I have them in the weight room and I'm like, today's not going to be like a comp class. Like
Right.
this is going to be like a drilling session. You know what I mean? Because of either where we're at pre-session
Right.
or where we're going, right? So that's like one way that sticks out in my mind that I have used that before.
Yeah.
But as far as like maybe concepts that I've given and taught in the room that could also be like maybe a cue or something in the
Right.
weight room would be like guard retention and like squat patterns, right? They're
Yeah.
like super similar. So if you wanted to kind of coach a squat pattern and kind of revert back to like, in the guard, we have our knees to our chest, we have our feet flat and pointed at our opponent. Like
Right.
this is like if our op was on the floor and we were like squatting up, I don't know.
Right.
You could like kind of bring some of that stuff in there. Or when we do this power exercise, this is something that's going to help us in our striking.
Right.
It's going to help us develop more impulse, like get there faster, hit harder, right?
Right.
So you can think about like I'm throwing like a hard right hand right here, whether we're doing like, I don't know, some sort of landmine jerk or a push press, or even sometimes it helps to, tell like wrestlers if I have them doing cleans, it's like we're picking this guy up.
Hang
type of
cleans,
thing,
you
if
can
want
just
to.
pick up bodies. Like,
Yeah,
I can't
yeah.
stress it enough, dude. You're
Yeah.
just body lock picking someone up. That's a fucking hang clean, dude.
Yeah, dude. So you can definitely sprinkle those in there. Of course, we both know we're not going to get too crazy with it. We're not going to have them start doing actual sport-specific movements
Yeah.
in the weight room. That's
Yeah,
not
good.
what it's for.
Yeah.
However, if we can utilize those terms to, again, not only show them that we know our stuff, but that we understand why we're doing what we're doing, and then they're starting to develop an understanding of how that's going to actually help them and why they should actually care.
Yeah.
And that's
It builds rapport. I feel like it paints a picture. And like, especially with certain individuals, I've found use. It actually helps sometimes clean up their technique. So slide into coaching jiu-jitsu. I've sometimes teach privates. I dabble with it. Hopefully one of these days I'll be able to be consistently coaching jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Dude, you've slid into that role, which is awesome.
It's been awesome.
And so think like a lot of I can't tell you how many people like just don't add a row to all their chokes. And like, so I'm like, all right, heavy single arm rows, every fucking combat sports needs to fucking do it. Like, you know, and they're like, why? And I'm like, RNC, Darce, Anaconda. Like
That's it.
literally fucking dude, like
Yeah.
you're going to
That's
be
fair.
layering in a row. If you add a row to your choking mechanics, and not just squeezing, your arms aren't going to burn out. You're going to be able to cook people way longer, and you're going to start actually breaking jaws, and you can just go through the face, right? So it's just like, not to knock on strength conditioning coaches that don't necessarily train stuff, but I feel like inside of you training is going to allow you to put more emphasis on be like, okay, that's why we need a heavy fucking strong single arm row, and we really need to make sure everyone has that, versus being like, rows are important, but you know, yada yada yada. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know. What's your take on that?
I'll kind of discuss. We can discuss the teaching a little bit, but I want to make this point first. It will probably be like, one, like, zero disrespect to anyone, but if you're a combat sports strength and conditioning coach and you haven't done jiu-jitsu, you haven't done boxing, you haven't done MMA, I don't get that at all. I think you're leaving quality of your coaching on the table. I think you're leaving your quest for knowledge on the table. You can only learn so much watching. And I also think that, again, I meant no disrespect, because I don't think you're going to get a level of respect from your fighters that you clearly would if you had some cauliflower ear and you've been through the ringer. So I personally think, especially as a combat sports strength and conditioning coach, because it is such a unique and special thing, that if you don't have experience in it, you might as well start coaching football.
I love that take, because you're just gonna figure out the nuances. There's no other way around it. You're gonna be like, oh, it's really important, my weight distribution. Oh, the importance of me being in a half kneeling position. Huge, because I'm there all the time when I'm passing, whatever. So if our strength conditioning program isn't doing stability somewhat component, making you fucking immovable from a half kneeling position, we're leaving shit on the table.
Yeah.
Like, you know, now to hit on like the big lifts, like we were talking about. So like, again, the last podcast I was talking with Udi, and I fucking loved talking with him. It was my first time kind of talking with him about it. But like, you leave a lot of, as long as you hit all those major things, we know that shit works, guys. So I would encourage you, if you just did the major, you know, vertical press, vertical pull, horizontal press, horizontal pull, squat, hinge. If we did nothing else, guess what? You're going to get better. If we did like fucking nothing else. So like, right? So let's just make sure do that. And then let's layer in the fucking cool, sexy shit, dude. Like, and layer in the sport specific, like stuff, relatively speaking. You know, it's like still you can hit those lifts from a half kneeling position. Now you're teaching stability and you're still working towards those major lift patterns, right?
Yeah.
So,
and I think a big thing too is, again, with that and being able to recognize the technique that would actually like have, you know, more direct transfer or whatever you want to say, you know, but also it's like the dynamic correspondence. That's what it was. I think the word I was looking for there.
Ooh.
Anyway, yeah. Buzzword. And you know, that's a whole nother discussion. But anyway, it's also like just, oh, we have that fighter who's in camp who's dropping that 20 pounds. And they're like, you don't know what this feels like, coach. Imagine them saying that to you.
Right.
That's just like one thing.
No, yeah,
There's
no,
out to me right there.
And there's
just
so
like, many other examples like that, but that's just one big thing I know.
Right.
When they're pissed off, they don't want to be there. They're cutting weight. They're close to this fight. They already aren't necessarily bought into what you're doing for them. And on top of that, you have no idea what they're going through.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, it's bad. It's until you've like cut weight before, and like I don't even cut weight that drastically. Like me, like I'll shave, you know, like 8-10 pounds.
Didn't you cut like 30 pounds for ADCC trials?
I didn't okay. I did not cut that. Yeah, I don't cut at all, dude. Dropping 50. Yeah, no. No. I didn't really cut weight. I tapered my weight down, and then I just did like a 10-pound cut. You know, or whatever. Okay. But like, so like, it's not that crazy. Like at the highest levels, these guys are doing 20 pounds, 25 pounds.
So much.
It's insane.
I would fight at bantamweight if I was a pro. Like,
right,
crazy.
dude? Shit's so insane. Dude, yeah. It's like, the size of these guys. But just from like my limited experience doing it, again, building upon strength conditioning coaches, at least do a weight cut and see the way you feel. I felt like a fucking feral animal. Is the appropriate, like, that's what Mally told me. Literally, she's just like, because I would just like, you know, where it's just like some people handle it well. I was just like not handling it that
Yeah.
well, and you know, it's like I've cut weight before, but like whenever I do it, I just feel like a like caged fucking feral animal. And so
Yeah.
recognize if that's the athlete you need to coach is a caged feral animal. How you approach that's gonna clearly, like you highlighted, be a little different. So that's awesome that you fucking hit on that.
Yeah. Thank you.
You know? Yeah. Not 35, not 35. Yeah,
Nah,
taper
for
down,
sure,
taper down.
for sure. Yeah. So
But yeah, fill us in a little. So you said strength conditioning kind of season ended for working at the collegiate level.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us a little about your research paper, kind of how'd that go? You went and talked at a conference.
yeah,
You
couple
convinced a lot
things.
of people that you fucking know sick things. So like, yeah, tell us about it.
yeah, fair. Yeah, to touch on more of like career-wise what's been going on, and also academic because I'm not done with my master's yet.
Yeah.
I won't be done with my master's until I defend my thesis, which
Yeah.
I'm supposed to do at the end of this month, but we'll see how that goes because
Sick.
I start work
Uh-huh.
on the 18th in Vegas, so I have no idea what my schedule is going to be like. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to fly back here on time.
Right.
I might have to like push my graduation, not my graduation date because that's still in December,
Right.
but I might have to continue working on my thesis through December, or
Right.
like it's going to be tough to get the professors to all sit down at the same time during the school year,
Right.
so that's why we're trying to get it done. I was able to do data collection in June.
Sick.
I was able to get 8 participants to fully be in the study, professional and amateur mixed martial arts athletes. It went very smoothly. I had the help of my one friend, which was like super great. Shout out Carson, the GOAT of sports science, incoming.
Sick. Let's go. Dude.
Yeah, my classmate, he's awesome. He's helping me run all of my statistics right now because
Nice.
it's tough, you know.
Dude,
and he's very good at it, better than me.
That's
and I want
awesome.
it to be the best, so he's helping me out. Really appreciate that. But did my data collection, so I had them randomly assigned to whether or not they started in the biomechanics lab or whether they started in the weight room. So if they started in the biomechanics lab, I simply just had them do 3 reps per strike. Jab, cross, left and right low kick, right? The calf kick has been like a crazy, you know, utilized weapon in mixed martial arts over like the last 5 to 10 years. It's really blown up in its use, so that's why I wanted to do the low kick. And then of course the jab and cross are the most common punches you're gonna throw in the fight. So that's why I chose
Imagine
those.
a fight though. Quick interjection. Imagine a fight, not a
Where they
single
don't
jab,
have a single
not
jab
one
or-
jab across. Dude, that shit
They're
is
just all hooks
bows,
and
tomahawk
uppercuts
elbows.
and bows. That would be insane.
Shit's
Dang.
insane.
Well, there's somebody out there who fights like that. You know what I mean? Definitely.
Dude, it could be you.
It could be me.
Sick.
Yeah, so they threw 3 reps per strike, you know, gave them a little bit of rest in between. They were instructed to do it as hard and as fast as possible. And aside from that, so once they did that in the lab, they were done. I was the one taking all the punches and the kicks, you know. I held the pads as close to my face as possible.
Nice.
I had the shield on my leg. I got taken out with some leg kicks.
Nice.
So it was a great day.
Nice. You were using pads?
Yeah, using pads.
Pussy.
There's no way I
Just
was.
getting beat up. Fucking
Yeah, no thank you. Yeah, we wanted to make it very specific, but not that. I could not have done that. I mean, we're talking 8 participants,
Yeah.
6 leg kicks
Sick.
each,
Sick.
48 leg kicks. Yeah.
I stand by my statement.
And
pussy.
most of them are all right-handed, so it's the same leg, you know. So yeah, that was tough.
That shit's great.
I preferred if they started in the weight room, where we had them go through a landmine punch throw, which again wasn't my first choice in the exercise.
you
It
gotta
would have
test
been
something.
cool to have like a jammer arm where
Yeah.
we do a more horizontal
Yeah.
push, right? But
That'd be sick.
again, it's still been valid in the literature,
Yeah.
so it was still great to use.
Dope.
And then we went with the counter movement jump and the isometric mid thigh pull, all
Nice.
2 standard procedures of those.
Dope.
So and that went very smoothly as well. And right now we're running through the statistical analysis, and we already have correlation between a few of those kinematics and kinetics that I got from the biomechanics lab, and also the data that we're getting from the force plates and everything,
Dope.
and the linear position transducers on the velocity-based training.
Can you say that word again to everybody?
So,
What was-
velocity-based training
Yeah.
is utilizing the speed of the bar to justify how you progress your client, right? Uh, every form of velocity-based training utilizes a linear position transducer, which can be like a block, it can be like a cuff on the bar, it can be, a platform on the ground that pulls a string. So these linear position transducers are how we measure that bar speed. So unless something is in the bar that is technologically advanced, we're not going to be able to get that bar speed. So that's what that means in plain English. Yeah, and that's what I utilized for the landmine punch throw, so we could track the velocity of that. But we also get power, we also get force, we get impulse, we get quite a bit of more metrics than you would think from that.
Dude, honestly, I think because I just recently bought like a little one to tie to the bar, and I think that's one of the better metric if you could only choose one, because combat sports is so power oriented. I feel like just measuring velocity of bar speed, weight's constant, or you can always look at weight and be like, okay, they're obviously getting stronger, but how fast are they moving it? To me, that's like one of the best, I feel like, trackable metrics.
It's like, super easy to program too.
Yeah, it's super easy, and so like I think I can't kind of recommend it enough. As minimal as I do of no tracking of really much, like we were talking about this earlier, how I'm a lazy piece of shit. Noel's going above and beyond tracking everything, 25 metrics. I'm just like a lazy piece of shit sometimes, so that's okay.
Oh man, but you should check out my professor Antonio Escalante. He actually just wrote a book on velocity-based training. He gave a talk at the NSCA conference and everything like that. But right now it's just grinding on my computer and typing away at my entire thesis, which is probably going to be between 50 to 70 pages. I got like 30 right now, and I still got a lot to go. So nice. Yeah, we'll kind of see how that goes. But it's going relatively well. It's just like hard to gather all the thoughts and type it out and then go over, edit it. Shout out Grammarly. That's helped a lot. I try not to use chat that much because you don't want that to be the source of what you do for your research paper, for sure. Not the full source, at least. But other than that, so that's all going well, set to defend. It's a little bit of pressure, but I typically thrive under pressure, so I'm happy to do that. It's, with the move and everything, it's going to be a little close call and everything, but we'll get it done. And then the NSCA conference was awesome.
That's awesome.
I know you had been there before, right?
I don't think I've never been to the NSCA conference.
Oh, okay.
I've been to like FWATA, like Far West Athletic Trainers Association. We presented a research article we did once there.
Oh, nice.
A long time ago, fucking eons ago.
Old as dirt over here.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Yeah, dude. And so, and then I've been to the APTA, American Physical Therapy Association. Nice. I haven't yet gone to an NSCA conference. I've gone to like NSCA sponsored events, but I haven't been to like a full on conference. But it sounds like you had a great experience, and you definitely recommend it.
Bro, it was great in like so many different aspects. I think like the first thing that really, I don't want to say caught me off guard, but like really just hit me like a wave was just being in that conference center and looking around.
All these people give a fuck.
All of these strength and conditioning professionals, sports scientists, personal trainers, coaches of sport coaches, like complete nerds, complete meatheads, but like everyone in there cares about the exact same thing that you do.
That's so dope.
And like is very passionate about it to pay the money to show up there. So I thought that was awesome. That was like my initial reaction.
Sick.
And then it was like, obviously meeting all of these people as well was awesome. Attending the lectures were like pretty cool. Some of them were of course boring, but some of them were interactive, and it's just like simple stuff that maybe you already kind of knew, but it's like a different twist on it, because that's what it all is, right? You see what everybody before you has done, you take the aspects that you like, take away the ones that you don't like, and you kind of end up with your own thing.
That's the art of
coaching. And it was
now.
like you could see exactly how that was working in real time there, which was awesome.
That's so sick. You sold me. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm going to one. Easy
it was cool. We stayed at the hotel. If you went to the hotel gym, it was freaking packed. Like at 7 a.m.
That's hilarious. At that conference,
I know, dude. So like,
there's like a waiting line to get on the leg press.
Literally, bro. Like everyone was waiting to use the free moving Smith machine.
Oh,
you know
nice,
what I
dude.
mean? That was hilarious, dude. I just like, if I go to a hotel gym, I'm doing like a circuit with all the machines, and that's pretty much it. That's all I really care about doing. I don't need to be in there any longer. I don't need to be doing any power work. That's not what I'm there for.
I'm gonna throw around the barbell because there's no bumper
I saw
plates.
guys doing one-arm snatches and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, brother, chill. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, I thought it was awesome. Another like really big aspect for me, and sorry if I'm rambling on here, but
Love it, man. Sick.
So as I told you, like my undergrad was in exercise science. I just like had different priorities back then. I
Right.
didn't really care about school. I wasn't like a star student by any means.
Uh-huh.
So for me, it was like, okay, I'm very excited to see. I knew my old professor would be there, and I knew my old classmate would be there. My old classmate, he was my barber in college. Shout out Mo LeBron, getting his PhD soon from UCF.
Sick.
Does research in combat sports, which is awesome. So I hadn't seen him since we graduated in 2019. We graduated the same day. He stayed in school. I went to the Navy. And, like, he's always been kind of like a source or inspiration for me to, like, keep going in this,
Sick.
you know? So it was amazing to see him after all that time.
Yeah.
And amazing to see my professor, my undergrad professor, after all that time. He did remember me. He said that I wasn't that bad.
Nice. Dude,
And
that's solid.
I was just so, like, proud and, like, kind of almost honored in a way to show them, like, hey, I've been putting in the work.
Yeah.
And I got there.
Yeah.
And I'm getting there.
Yeah.
You know, like to me, to really appreciate the transition that I've made since then.
Yeah.
Like, came to fruition by seeing those people again after all these years.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that was like probably the most important like aspect to me. It really meant a lot.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, because it's kind of funny. I was talking with a buddy about this, and it's like some people, it's like you met, you know, like 10, 15 years ago, whatever, and it's like in their mind, you're that fucking same
You're
person.
that guy.
Yeah, you're like, right? You know, it's like, right? Like,
that
or like
guy,
you're that
man.
guy. Like, because
Yeah.
it's like they haven't kept up with your life or fucking whatever.
Exactly,
you know, why
dude.
should they? You know?
Yeah.
And in your mind, they're whatever last person you met,
Yep.
you like remember seeing, right? And so it's just kind of funny that like, yeah, when you like meet people and it's just like they have a completely alternative perspective. Like I remember like one time my wife and I, Mally, went to a like LMU reunion. So that's where I went to undergrad, Loyola Marymount up in LA.
Okay.
Shout out LMU.
Shout out.
But literally I ran into someone that I like knew in college. I was like, oh, dude, hey, what's up? Blah, blah. How's it going? Yeah, this is my wife, Mally. And I just remember her reaction. She was like, like right in front of me. And I was just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, where the fuck do you, like, you think nothing's changed after all this time, dude?
Damn.
Like, come on. Like, I wasn't a fuck off my whole life. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
I can get my
exactly.
shit together here, dude. So like it's just kind of funny that like you know, like in people's mind, like, you know, you're wherever you were at, you know, when they
For
last
sure.
saw you. But
Yeah.
same thing goes for training partners. So relating that to combat sports.
Okay, yeah.
Like, right, it's kind of funny when like you haven't rolled with someone in like a year and a half, and then like last time you rolled with them, you like fucked them up, and then like, you know, then you roll with them again or something, and then you're like, oh damn, dude, you were fucking smashing the fuck out of me, and you're like, damn, dude, like you clearly been putting in work, you know, the past year and a half. So
Yeah, works both ways there, which is the beauty of it, right? You
no,
know what I mean?
exactly,
Yeah.
dude, exactly. You can surprise some motherfuckers, dude.
Oh yeah, for sure,
So,
man. Yeah, I get that all the time, which
Nice.
is like really good for me from
Yeah.
like my ego boost. But like again, that'll typically come from, and this is definitely common amongst. I had this in like boxing before.
Yeah.
I know it happens in MMA as well, and then in jiu-jitsu. When you start training with like guys who you view and like have proven to be very high level,
Yeah.
and you're training with them a lot, and they're telling you you're improving despite the fact that they're still beating the crap out of you.
Yeah.
You know that like they genuinely mean it.
Yeah.
You know, and if they're telling you
Or they're
that-
lying to you enough to keep you there so they can keep punching you in the face. Either.
Wait, what did you just say, bro?
Yeah.
Can you please rescind that?
Yeah. So sometimes, you know, because like the reality is this: if you
Oh,
break your
man.
toys, you can't play with them. So sometimes you need bodies, and so you just keep telling that
Why'd
one
you
guy.
say that, dude? That
You're
just
doing
like
great.
took me from here to like here. You didn't have to be that honest with me, brother.
Sorry, I was just joking, dude.
Oh,
I'm sure they
man.
mean it.
But that's a beautiful aspect as well, though, because then
Yeah.
that gives you the confidence
Yeah.
to, you know, perform against people who are your skill level.
Absolutely.
And then also, or it could, you know, do the opposite. It just depends on the individual's mindset. It could be like, man, if the other person rather is like getting closer to your level or maybe surpassing you, then it's like, dang, like what have I been doing?
Yeah, no,
Sometimes
seriously.
you're gonna compare immediately, like what have I been doing? How did this guy get this good that fast?
Mm-hmm.
I've had that experience before for sure,
Right.
where somebody was whipping on me when I was like either very competitive with them
Right.
or like whipping on them, but that's just the ebbs and flows of it, right? Next year it could be the opposite, you know what I mean? I could be beating them up, and
No,
we'll
absolutely.
see.
And it's tough to see because like early in combat sports, it's like your progress is going to be really quick. And then, over time, the jumps you make in your game starts getting smaller and smaller and smaller
Yeah.
the closer you get to the top, right? So, yeah, like I have some training partners where it's like, like I flew by a bunch of people and then now it's like my level's here. And then now I'm hitting the age where it's like these motherfuckers are starting to like fly towards me. And
Yeah.
it's like, I just remember one time I was like at the gym, like rolling, and I was like really high. And I looked at this kid and he was just like, and he always fucking points me out. And I just like had this feeling in my like soul where I was just like, is this the day that I get put down? And yeah, dude, I was just like this old wounded animal, dude. I'm like way too high. Like, and it's just like, I was like, this is the day I'm getting put down by this young kid, dude.
Like, oh man, this wasn't worth it. Maybe I shouldn't have gone to training today.
Yeah, no, exactly. But dude,
Oh,
it's good.
man.
It's good. And then that like lit a fire into my butt.
And
like
then
you
no matter
said.
what, like you're cool after that.
No,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? Because as long as you don't
Exactly.
take it too personally, especially in the room, and this can go for everybody, do not take sparring or rolling in the room too seriously.
Yeah.
As far as your performance level, obviously you should analyze it, but as far as the results, don't take that too personally. Don't be like, oh man, I did something wrong, that's why I got choked. It's like, oh man, what could I do to avoid that the next time? Change the mindset. And then it's like, we're in the room, they didn't get their hand raised.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't the end of the world. I didn't go out there and the other person got their hand raised or anything like that. So that's just one thing for
Yeah.
sure. But yeah, that's like a continual theme, like you said, man.
Yeah.
And especially like you said something great there where like you are recognizing, despite the amazing shape you're in, despite the level of your jiu-jitsu, it's gonna start going down a little bit. You're getting older. It's not necessarily a young man's sport, but there are a lot of young men that you train around, you know what I mean? Especially in Oceanside, you got all those crazy young Marines who are like trying to kill you.
Yeah.
And then
That's
of course, the other very talented guys that you have there, but it can be where, you start fighting guys who are not half your age, you're not that old. But like
33.
they're
Yeah,
getting up there. They're getting up there.
Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
you were older, bro.
No,
He always
no.
talks about it like he's 36.
Yeah,
All
no,
right. Never
I
mind.
got some good years.
But again, still, especially when you have been practicing for a number of years or you grew up doing the other sports, like you have to really recognize that breakdown. And that's why, like at MMA, you'd be washed by this point. Not
And
necessarily
that's why
washed,
I'm
but
not
like
dumping resources in it.
that's how it goes. Yeah,
people have asked
exactly.
me, and I've had that realization. I was just like I train Muay Thai for fun, and like boxing, I got to do more. But dude, that ship's sailed. Like if I'm taking a realistic outlook on combat sports, it's like jiu-jitsu, you can kind of make a run and do stuff later in life, whereas like unfortunately like MMA and striking, it's a ship's got to sail a little earlier, and so that's why it's like, all right, cool, well next lifetime.
Yeah, dude.
Next lifetime.
And yeah, all those years, because it's very typical, they maybe started fighting when they were 18 years old, as far as like getting in there and competing in the cage.
Right.
Like, so by the time they're 30, it's just like with Max Holloway. Everybody thinks he's super old, but like he literally got into the UFC when he was 21.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He might have been 20 even. I don't know.
Yeah.
When he made his debut against Poirier and he got it back, which is, awesome to see as well.
Mm-hmm.
But, just something like that, it's like, okay, we have to recognize by the time these guys are in their early 30s, we got to kind of switch up what we're doing.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
we
big
got to
time.
recognize where they're at and kind of like where they're headed and understand their career goals and then what are realistic goals and then work around that. It's not just like we can be doing the same thing that's gotten us here.
Yep.
It's being able to recognize when do we have to pivot. And of course you do that like throughout the entire training process, but I think it's like extremely important, definitely, especially as they start to get old for the sport.
Right.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. But like what's so funny is I love seeing like certain individuals fly in the face of conventional wisdom, like a Yo Romero, or like it's like right, or it's just
that
like,
guy can just do whatever he wants.
Yeah, it's like in his 40s, or like even like a Randy Couture, or like got better with age. It's like it's interesting. It's an interesting dynamic that like you increase the longevity especially at least in MMA, as you get older, if your weight goes up.
Yeah,
Which,
it's
especially at like the heavyweight and stuff, it's just like, everyone's got knockout power. Everyone's larger. It's like that's honestly what I think John Jones is doing. Right? It's like from light heavyweight moving on up. It's just like he's prolonging his timeline.
He can still keep fighting. Yeah.
And so, like, dude, he could do that shit that he's doing if he actually wanted to, like, till he's, like 43, 42, dude. So it's interesting, that kind of element. You see that even in grappling, right? It's like the divisions get a little thinner when you get heavier. So the real question is, when are you turning into a meatball and competing at 270? Like, at what age do you think is appropriate? At 48? At fucking 50? What do you think?
Well, I'm actually, while I'm, kind of taking some time off the mats right now, I've just been teaching 3 to 5 a week, which is, again, like we said, still leveling me up, but I'm not getting in that Pohada or, even like the more methodical training that I do, like the very specific constraint-led approach type stuff. Like, I can't really do that too much in the moment, and I don't want to use the word can't. Maybe like I should just approach it carefully, but I've been trying to gain weight. I have been able to gain some, which has been awesome. I'm kind of working my way towards like 175, 180, like consistently.
Oh, sick.
So I'm gonna move up. Like,
oh, you are moving. I was joking. I
know
fucking,
you're joking.
like,
but I was like, I don't know if he was
dude.
Myron.
Oh yeah, you're looking so
what,
big, dude.
I mean?
You're looking, dude, sick job.
I would say like, for me, I keep thinking that like. I would say that I'm in a lot better shape than my dad was at this point in time, but I can see myself like turning into him as far as like body wise. So I kind of see that. So I'm like,
big
dang,
forearms. How big were his forearms?
He worked construction his entire life. They were freaking gigantic.
Sick.
And played baseball and he boxed. But I would say.
That's really all you need.
He had the big
Hawaiian shirt,
mainly
big
from
forearms,
beer, but he, just like me, I have a sweet tooth. He was a midnight snack kind of guy,
nice.
And I can just see like getting that big belly and being a little bit bigger and maybe TRT'd up. Yeah. By the time I'm like 40, I could probably be pushing 200 consistently.
Dude, that's sick.
Just having that as my body weight. I've touched that before. Yeah. Had to work very hard at it, but it didn't last too long. I think the most weight I was carrying was like 185 while I was in the military, which was like great, but all I was doing was lifting and eating, so it was kind of like easy. And that's kind of like what I'm getting to right now. But I think by the time I'm probably like 40, I'll be like pretty big. Like,
dude, that's dope.
Just kind of let it go and do the Masters division at like 200 and just go crazy.
Dude, that's sick. Dude, low key, I think I'm gonna at some point. I'm gonna hit 225.
Okay.
I think like low.
What do you walk around at?
So like my weight fluctuates anywhere from like 170 to like I can get up to 200.
Like easy.
Like 200 is easy.
Dang.
So like
225 can happen then.
That's
probably,
why I was just like 225s for sure. I think if I really wanted to, but so like right now I'm like probably like 185 or so.
Okay.
And like around 170 I get super athletic. Realistically, if we're talking about. If I want to really compete, I'd be at 155. Better, I should get down to 155 in my size, but like, because I'm 5'8". Yeah. Do I need to be a meatball at 225? Like, no. But
but imagine.
When because I'm going to for sure just hop on TRT probably at like 40, I don't know, like, I don't know the age, but like, I don't know, maybe 42, 44. And then that prolongs like my grappling career for another 4 years or so, right? I plan to do competitive grappling until
the wheels fall off.
Yeah,
definitely.
I'm going for the longevity.
Like you said, it's different with striking. It's different.
Striking so different, especially
and it's different with MMA.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, people do it. We do have those outliers, like we mentioned earlier. You know what I'm saying? And but a lot of those guys were either already at the highest level of another sport, or like you said, kind of not gaming the system. That's the wrong word, but like Randy Couture won the title when he was almost like 50, but he was at the highest level of Greco-Roman for years. You would think that it'd be like the opposite effect, but really, especially like in the example of the heavyweight division, or if you get heavier, those guys are going to be moving way slower than you're used to guys moving. Yeah. You're going to have a little bit more technical efficiency. Yeah. And then I feel like that's like more from a jiu-jitsu standpoint, but then more from like an MMA standpoint, like you're going to be slow, but like heavyweights are slow. So like if you hit harder, you hit harder, and that's it, man.
It's totally chill.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, I don't know. Cause so that's why it's like, I don't know. I feel like, yeah, grappling, I'm just getting started. At 33, I was like, I'm going to do a solid run until at least 44.
Yeah.
So I got 11 years. And
Let's
so
go.
like, I was like, let's go. Just warming up.
God willing. God willing. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. In a couple of years, I'll let you know how that plan works.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens with the move to Vegas. We're very excited. We're 11 days out right now.
That's so sick, man. Let's
Got to start, packing. Yeah. It's probably a good call. We're going to get the U-Haul. I'm going to drive the cats over there. It's not a bad drive. So very excited. Nice condo. And then obviously super excited for the job. But We'll be there for sure until February.
Damn, so you're going to a good chunk of time.
Yeah,
sick.
yeah.
Okay,
and then
cool.
see what happens from there. You know what I mean?
That's fucking awesome.
Might really miss it here, come back. Might get some really great opportunities out there.
Yeah.
I'm going to say I will. I'm going to start manifesting that.
Yeah.
I have confidence that I'll be able to show why I'm worth hiring.
Yeah.
And if not, why I'm worth hiring, maybe at least in the future. And then I really would like to find another opportunity with one of the premier MMA gyms out there and start working with those guys somehow, develop the connections, see what I can do, work at the gym, maybe have my own guys, so I'm really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the challenge. I know it's going to be tough work. It's not easy. It's the highest level of the sport.
You're no stranger to hard work, dude. Get the fuck out of here.
Get the fuck out of here. Not at all, dude. Yeah, so it's starting to feel a little bit more real now that I have a start date and everything like that, but
that's dope.
The little kid in me who was like hiding the bag in my basement and like dreaming of like being an MMA fighter and everything, like I just like can't really put in words how much it means to me.
Dude, that's
like,
dope,
I'm
man.
tearing up,
Yeah, no, dude, that's so
for
exciting.
sure.
Dude, I'm super amped for you, man. And you're gonna learn a lot, dude. You're gonna get exposed to so many different things out there, which is sick.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about kind of academic endeavors.
Yeah.
We talked about kind of professional endeavors. Do you want to kind of fill us in a little on health levels, kind of what you've been doing, or do you want to gloss over that? Like what?
No, I
what
can
do you feel
definitely
like?
do that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Because you made great progress by yourself. So kind of fill us in, kind of what's going on, what's happening, what have you been doing, and how you're gonna come back fucking even better.
Yeah, no, I can definitely talk about that. So about 6 or 7 weeks ago, like I was saying earlier, I was training and, I just essentially flared my knee out at the wrong time against my opponent's body weight and pop, it was
What
bound
does
to
the pop
happen.
mean? What does the pop? Pop means like we're good. We just like go to training the next day. Is that what a pop means?
But I mean, it's like it depends. If you just hear like pop, or if you hear like conjoined like pop, but it's like very fast, then like you're probably cool.
Okay.
But if you, at least in my experience, but if you hear like
I'm gonna
pop,
slightly disagree, but
if you hear like pop, and it's like just very audible between the two pots, I feel like that's when it's like, oh, something's wrong.
Gotcha.
Obviously, you have way more experience with that than I do, as far as diagnosing, as far as seeing it and then moving from there. But I would say that's what I've noticed in my own and some of my training partners' injuries.
So that's why I wanted to highlight this, because you have an extensive career of grappling, or extensive, like you've wrestled and everything, right? So like anytime you guys hear a pop, shit probably got tore, guys. Now, like, so let's just.
I'm like, you're
and you're like, no.
You can train the next day. You'll be all right. Like
you gave the answer that every fucking combat sports athlete gets. Which are like, no, it wasn't a serious pops. It was there's tiers of pops. Dude.
There are,
and there are. So the technical term for sure is tiers of pops, and it's just like recognize, like notice how he hit on like super severe pops. Is like, oh shit, that means like really serious shit got torn. Sometimes it can just be a simple cavitation, which is like a joint cracking. So knowing how to differentiate the pop and a crack really matters, because like you said, if it's just cracking, who cares? It's like whatever, keep moving forward. So like chiropractors do, or like grade 5 manipulations, right? But yeah, anytime if you feel or hear a pop, think shit tore. So whether it's like, if we're talking about a knee, it could be a ligament, it could be the meniscus, it could be anything along those lines. So recognizing now the severity of the tear is kind of what matters.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you corrected me there, but I was exactly where you were. I kept using pop. I meant crack in the first
there we go, crack.
Yeah, so you were right about that one for sure.
Right,
but that happened to me in training. I was getting ready for 3 super fights back to back weekends. I was like feeling great, dude.
Nice.
So like, of course it happened.
Yeah, dude.
You know, but it
Always-
is what it
always
is.
the
We
case.
both know that
Yeah.
it's
I've
it's
popped
a
shit left and right
possibility.
everywhere.
It's
Yeah.
almost inevitable. So like, you don't really know when these things are gonna happen. You can do what you can to be safe. I was as physically prepared as I could be, as robust as I could be, and it still happened. You know what I mean? And that's why, you know, we don't sell strength and conditioning to people and being like, this will never get you injured. But
Nope.
like, we're gonna do everything we can to lessen that,
Yeah.
right? But
it makes you more durable.
exactly,
You're already back to
yeah.
coaching and moving around and teaching and kind of like lifting.
Yeah. Very quickly.
If you hadn't done that, getting back to all those things would be significantly more difficult. So
Yeah. I
props
recall
to you.
from my ACL surgery that I started moving day one. And I feel like that's why I've healed up so quick. So I tried to implement the same thing. I didn't take that long to just like kind of ice when I was noticing some swelling, and then, you know, I was also like using tens units. I was moving my leg as much through the range of motion as I could, and I had like very limited, and it was actually like quite bad. I'm probably like
Severity of pops. How many
Yeah.
pops? Like, right?
I had 2 pops. I had
so-
2 pops. I could walk after, but it was very tough. Swollen for weeks. You know, I was hopping on the bike. I was working on that full extension. I was able to get that like pretty pain free, like pretty early on. So I was very confident in that, and then working back up to strengthening my quads. I'm back up to doing squats now.
Dope.
On the barbell. I'm back to doing like lunge variations.
Sick.
Split squats and stuff like that are a little tough because of the range of motion on the knee. As you know, like at the end range, that's when I feel like some resistance and pain. That's kind of all of that I'm dealing with right now.
Gotcha.
So like things have progressed very well. Been trying to do that in the weight room. I've been teaching 3 to 5 times a week
Dope.
at Ocean Beach Jiu-Jitsu Collective. Come check us out.
Nice.
Typically I teach Nogi 10 a.m.s, which is like, you know, hit or miss kind of. But
10
you
a.m.'s
know,
a tough
I'll
slot,
go
dude.
from like,
Yeah.
it's a newer gym as well. So
Yeah.
I fluctuate from like as low as 2
Yeah.
to, which is like basically a free private and kind of cool because we can touch a lot of different stuff, to like 10
Sick.
to 12. So like it's been awesome. I've had some big classes.
That's awesome.
Been implementing, you know, the constraint led approach as well as still teaching technique, because I still believe it's very valuable to drill, even if it's static. But
Yeah.
I always encourage my students, like, after you got it down, let's ask our training partner, like, how does this feel? Give me a little bit of resistance, things like that, right?
Various defensive looks.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Right, defensive reactions. No, I couldn't
And I
agree more.
found it like hits them way more after we do a few like games and they don't know what to do from the position, and then I give them a solution to that, and they're like, oh, that would have helped me so much in the beginning. So that's how I like to structure them typically.
That's sick.
Or the opposite, where we do the technique first, and then maybe we'll do specific sparring that's a little less has a little less constraint.
Yeah.
And it's basically just specific sparring, and we go from there. So they still get like this guy's going for a submission. We can still hit different positions than when we're currently at, as opposed to like if you put a lot of constraints on things, it's very specific route, you know. So if we want to leave it a little bit more ambiguous because maybe they're not getting open rounds after, that's something that I like to implement as well.
Dude,
And,
that's awesome.
yeah.
I love how like the constraints led approach has like gotten a lot of kind of like following in recent years. I'm just happy they changed it from fucking ecological, because that's such a fucking stupid word.
People
dude.
still use it though.
Yeah,
They
I
still
know, dude.
use
Like
that word. Yeah.
I'm just happy they finally pivoted, because like literally I went on a whole fucking rant on this shit, dude. Because like right there, stages of motor learning on the fucking chalkboard wall. Watch episode 8. I literally cover
There it is.
that. I get what they're saying with the ecological approach, or now constraints-led approach, but I think it'd be a little bit more received by the community if they framed it in that way. So I would encourage, go watch episode 8. That's my take on it, just because that's how we learn things. So like Noel's, like the way he's teaching people, I don't know if you guys have picked up on that. He's teaching them like he would coach them to do a movement pattern that he's historically has learned how to do. So like teaching people how to move is like a skill set, and recognize like everyone goes through certain phases. So like you learning how to he said a great thing. The value of just even drilling, because he sees the value of that. Yeah, because they're learning how to fucking coordinate just even how to do an arm bar or do a movement pattern
Yeah.
before we start adding variables and everything else like you're saying, right?
Exactly.
You know, or different defensive reaction, this and that. So he highlighted beautifully that they need to understand that baseline foundation. If you just jump straight to fucking making them do they're gonna be like, what the fuck's going on here, dude? And so like, so thank you for fucking highlighting on that. But yeah, dude,
for sure,
constraints. Constraints led approach. I think that's a better term.
Yeah.
I think it's just objective based training.
Definitely.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's objective. You have an objective, and it's like, and you can highlight a whether I don't know. I'm gonna shit on probably here Greg Sauter a little. Sorry, but
hey, he's been nice every time I met him. I went to a seminar. I went to a few classes. He ran me through some classes. It was pretty great.
I know, no, there's super useful things to learn, and I'll say this, like, I get what he's saying, and I agree with what he's saying. He's saying there's a better way to teach than we currently do. I subscribe to that. Props to you. Thank you for thinking outside of the box, Greg. Thank you for saying there's a better way to do things. I totally agree.
Thanks.
But, like, I'm going to be honest here, dude. Like, as someone that's fucking a movement professional, it's my job. Dude, you overcomplicate things, like, with your explanation sometimes. And the reality is the gen pop or general population, people don't need 45 fucking words to tell them to put the left hand by the head.
Which is just as confusing as Japanese terms, which he always like roast. Again, no disrespect.
Yes. You know, but same thing. Yeah, like you said, like Danaher, like half the fucking issues is the fucking verbal lingo.
Yeah.
You know, same thing with like 10th Planet. I can't tell you how many times 10th Planet fucking they're like, oh yeah, dude, we're in we'll just double bag it or fucking
homie control.
Yeah, homie control, crackhead control,
crackhead
dude.
control.
and you're just like, I still don't know those terms, dude. No, and it's just like,
there's
all right,
a lot. Yeah.
Put foot over face.
I do appreciate the uniqueness. Though.
Yeah, no, it's solid, dude. But like, it's like all of them, not to me, are making the same mistake, whether it's Danaher or Eddie Bravo or fucking.
It's a common theme, though.
It's a common theme. So it's just like the reality is, let's simplify these things because we got people that are just looking to try to complete the movement pattern. Mm-hmm. You know, like let's take a strength conditioning lens. I could call it a vertical press. I could call it military press. I could call it an overhead press. Like the terminology doesn't matter really. Mm-hmm. It's can I take it from here to fucking here? And yes, we can get into nuances of, oh, is it a neutral grip? Are my palms here? And we're biasing and working different things. So there's a time and a place. But for someone just starting off, do I need to explain to them the difference of this, and this? No. Get that fucking shit overhead.
Yeah, you got to see him do it.
And then you can coach him up and kind of dive deeper. So, again. But thank you for saying there's a better way, Greg. I do applaud you on that, and I couldn't agree with you more. Sorry for roasting you a little there.
Yeah, you're a great coach. The training was awesome, so shout out.
Sorry,
Maybe
Noel does
get
it.
Some clicks, you know.
Sorry, Noel. Noel, I say some crazy things. Noel has his own opinions, so do not attach my opinions to this guy. He's going places.
Either way. Yeah. But also the teaching aspect has been great for my recovery because it's super light, kind of slow pace. I can see like, oh, does my knee feel weird in certain positions? A deep knee cut right now is still not a thing. Right. You know, body lock passing, things like that. Anything where I got to sit back on my heels or squat all the way down, it's a no-go right now in jiu-jitsu because as soon as I'm going to be met with some external resistance, it's going to be a problem.
And then
so
explosive in weight and on top of that.
And I'm a very explosive athlete, and when I'm passing, I like to move my feet a lot. That was a habit that when I rolled last Friday, I probably could have done without, you know what I mean, to mitigate stuff, like you said, modifying the style that I normally have. I'm not shooting blast doubles right now.
Nice.
I'm not.
Damn, you're just mixing, in a depression hole, dude.
I'm not going from headquarters to the knee cut, back to the leg drag, to the outside passing. I can't be doing that stuff right now. That's what I want to do, but it's just not going to work out at the moment. Yeah. Yeah, you know. But I'm seeing where I'm at, and it's been very helpful. I've loved teaching so far. Yeah. Can't wait to do it more. And
dude, that's dope. And we were talking earlier, like pre-pod, like we were talking about how teaching helps organize your thoughts, like you just touched on. And it's just like, I've yet to see a individual who started teaching consistently that did not make huge exponential gains in their progress. So I would encourage you guys, like, normally, like, when I sub in for a class, I tell someone, I was like, if you can't explain it to someone, it means you don't fucking understand it. So whatever I like whatever I fucking teach someone, I tell them, go grab someone and go teach them that. And then I can't tell you how many times someone comes back to me, they're like, Mike, I wasn't able to teach it. And I was like, but did you find out what you need to understand more?
That's a good tool.
And they were
That's
like,
a really
yes.
good tool. Yeah.
And so, like, I apply that to literally anything. I tell that to my physical therapy students. I tell that to my athletic training students. I tell that to anybody. Like, if you can't explain it to someone, it's going to highlight really quickly. And you can't demo it. It's going to highlight really quickly what areas you need to work on. And that ties into kind of what you said earlier of if you're a strength conditioning coach for combat sports athletes, gotta fucking do
There
something.
it is.
Do something.
There it is
dude.
again.
Do something.
Just
dude.
saying. Obviously, like, I'm not. I don't. This might not be a fact, but like, there are still the outliers that are amazing coaches, right?
Yeah.
Like Duncan, I'm pretty sure didn't practice a combat sport. I could be wrong.
Right.
Maybe he did, but he's one of the greatest minds, if not the greatest mind in
Yeah.
MMA, strength and conditioning, and overall philosophy on their athletic performance and their key performance indicators and everything, right? So there are outliers as well, but I will hold firm on my opinion. I'm gonna hold firm on this.
I'm gonna double down on that and second that. I'm gonna say this: just because you did fucking amazing, let's do better.
Let's do better.
like right? You know, okay. Yeah. You know, Apple did great. Nvidia crushed it. If we're taking a stock market lens, you know,
exactly.
it's like, you know, cool. Anyone that bought Apple loved it. Fucking did amazing, did great. You know, Nvidia a little better. You know,
there you go. Yeah.
So like, right. So it's like and that's what's really gonna push combat
raising
sports.
the bar.
Keep raising the bar. You know?
dude.
So
yeah.
I think that's a great piece. Just because it's amazing and did excellent, dude.
Yeah.
You're gonna be doing
trying
great.
to just raise the bar, do as much research as I can, practice the sport, and I mean, I really believe that I'm going to be a really great source for MMA, strength and conditioning, combat sports in general. I have confidence in that. I'm surrounded by the right people. I'm going to go obtain, you know, a lot of knowledge that I didn't have before. I'm going to bring in everything, take it all in like a sponge, and just keep moving forward, dude.
Nice, dude. I love it. Thanks for letting us know, Mally. I got to get out of here covering class today. Going to be asking people a lot of questions today.
Let's go.
Teach someone else the stupid shit that I'm going to be fucking teaching today. So thanks for coming in, Noel. Thanks for fucking talking. Sorry we had to cut this a little short today.
No worries.
But I'm looking forward for the next time kind of we meet up and all the lessons you've learned and all the things you can teach me, bud. So thanks, man.
Yeah, great. Thank you again for having me. Thank you, everybody, for listening. You can follow me at MMA Strength. And, yeah.
And then Ocean...
come to Ocean Beach Jiu-Jitsu Collective.
Sick.
Great gym, a new gym right on Newport Avenue in Ocean Beach. We have classes like all day. We do gi and no gi. We also have Muay Thai. So come on by, see how you like it. It's an art gallery / jiu-jitsu academy. So yeah, come see what's up. 10 a.m. no gi, Tuesday to Thursday, and I'll let you know. I'll post if I have any other classes.
Thanks again, boss.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, sick.
Oh, that's real good.